While I wait for everyone else to join me in our room at Riverside, just want to remind everybody about our Central Indiana Scoreboard show. We release it every morning. It's like the ESPN Radio Sports Center style program, but we focus on the Pacers, Fever, Colts, IndyCar, IU, Purdue, Ball State, and the best high school sports coverage in Central Indiana, especially this week. I got like 5 podcasts coming up in the next 24 hours just with all the tennis, track, baseball, softball going on. So please join us every morning, not weekday. I've been saying that a lot, but now it's every morning. The Central Indiana Sports Report. You're going to want to tune in for that. I'm joined by John Robertson and Codey Emerson. What you're listening to right now is the Central Indiana Sports Report, podcast number 278.5. Our reaction to Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks. Of course, joined by our Pacers guy, Mike Rich, our NBA guy, John Robertson, and we will have many other guests tonight as the Pacers go up 3-1 in the Eastern Conference Finals, 1 game away from their second finals ever. And I am now joined by Mike Rich from the Fieldhouse. Mike Rich, what's it like there?
It's fucking fantastic, man.
Can't hear you.
I said this was fantastic. We broke our. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
This was a great experience. Me and Alan had to come back after we were at Game 3 in Cleveland and break that curse. The Pacers take the third win in this series. One more.
All right, before we introduce everybody else, just want to do our 15-second recap. And the recap was Pacers led throughout the game. The Knicks made a bit of a run, but just like Greg said, the Pacers were going to win by, did it end up double figures? What was the final score? I'm so excited.
Pacers by 9.
Pacers by 9, so I was close enough. This is kind of how I saw it playing out. I also called my shot with big nights from Halliburton, Siakam, and Matherin. John Robertson, thanks for joining us. Your thoughts on the Pacers being 1 win away from the NBA Finals?
Brother, I am so happy right now. I am so excited. What a great game. I had a hard time watching at the end. I had a friend who used to live here who lives in Minneapolis, but he sent me a message. He's like, "Man, the Pacers are killing it tonight." And I told him, I said, "I can't rest until it's over. I can't relax until the game's over." The Pacers played great. But there was always that worry that, the Knicks were going to come back and, they were 2-3 scores away a couple of times. So I was nervous, but the story of the night has to be Halliburton triple-double, right? Like, he almost gets a triple-double in the first half.
He was amazing tonight.
Just unbelievably good. And then the secondary story, I think, has to be that Matherin came out to play. He had something to prove, and he was the spark we needed to come off the bench, and he'd played the best game he's played all playoffs, and we needed it. And absolutely super appreciative of Matherin tonight.
And we welcome in Codey Emerson from the Greencastle Banner Graphic. Codey is also dressed in his Pacers out. Anybody here not wearing Pacers tonight? And we still have Mike Rich with us on the line, but we have no idea where he's gone. He's partying somewhere in the Fieldhouse. Welcome, Codey.
I actually was on a softball coverage assignment tonight at work for the Banner Graphic, but I had it playing on my phone throughout most of the game. And I was listening on the radio on my way home and caught the final probably 2 or 3 minutes. This is the response that we expected. You lose a tough game 3, one you probably shouldn't have lost. And then this team does what they've done all postseason long after a game 3 loss, and that's respond. Monster game by Halliburton. Something and someone that's probably going to get talked about multiple times by a lot of us is Benedict Mathurin. Had the best game by far of the playoffs. No, people had doubted him because he hadn't played well. And he'd probably be the first person to tell you that, but he played phenomenal off the bench. And as we've kept it, one more. This team is one win away from the NBA Finals, which, if you were to tell anyone, including Pacers fans, I'll be honest, before the year started, the Indiana Pacers would be one win away from the NBA Finals, we'd all say you're out of your freaking mind. There's no way. I as big of a Pacer fan as I am, I'm also trying to be a realist, and I didn't, in no way, shape, or form did I see this coming. But by God, am I happy that it's here.
I'm gonna go on record that I'll have to find the tweet. I tweeted it before the season. Pacers were going to the finals. Like I don't know. I'm just gonna say like you don't have to believe that. I mean, it was hopeful. It was bias. It was, but
When did you
glad
place your
you're
bet,
right.
John?
I placed my bet at 120 to 1 in early April. So that
You are close now, man.
Yeah,
but let's not jinx it.
Let's not.
Will also predicted that the Pacers would be here. But before we get to him, let's check in with Mike Rich, who's at the Fieldhouse, and we're seeing his seat. And I think he can actually touch the rafter from where he's sitting.
That's how
Mike,
that's how close I am to the Raptors, man.
you're right up next to it. Wow. Could you see the game at all?
Oh, absolutely saw the game. I felt the game, man. That was awesome. We were going to go meet at a bar, and we decided we found a couple tickets way up in the Raptors, and it's like, what the heck? Let's go do it. And once in a lifetime, probably experience to see the Pacers this close to making the finals and beat the New York Knicks. I am super elated and excited to see Halliburton get a triple-double tonight. He came out and played well. Mathurin had one heck of a game. I mean, I know you all probably recapped all that, and I could hear a little bit here and there, but I was expecting to either sit at a bar or sit at home and watch this game. But Hatfield asked me, he's like, tickets are like 163. You want to go? And I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Wow.
So yeah, we're sitting up in the nosebleeds, and just an absolutely electric atmosphere tonight. And, I mean, it was a little. We were a little nervous, that fourth quarter, but God, what a feeling! What a feeling! Just absolutely awesome. I know you probably can't hear much of what I'm saying, so
we can hear everything you're saying. We can also hear Montel Jordan in the background.
So. Very good.
And it sounds like a party going on. Mike, thanks so much for joining us. You and I will catch up soon and talk some more Pacers.
Yeah, go Pacers.
Before Game 5. Go Pacers. Safe trip back, Mike.
Hey, thank you.
Let the record show Mike's wearing his Pacers shirt, so big respect there.
And we are joined by Will Retherford and Michelle Garmon, who you heard a little bit from just a minute ago. And apparently at the game, and we should have talked to Mike about this, Pat McAfee was trash talking Ben Stiller and Spike Lee and Timothy Chalamet. So that's fun. And Triple H was there. I don't even know who that is, but Will, welcome to the Central Indiana Sports Report.
Thank you. I mean, what an experience! What a game! They needed it and they got it. That was a huge win for them. I think for the series. I don't know if I'd go as far to say what the pundits were saying, that the winner of Game 4 wins the series. 2-2. It's anyone's. It's a crapshoot at that point. But just a great win. I thought that the chess pieces were played right at the right time for the most part. They took care of business. I don't really know what more to say at this moment than that.
I still don't think it's over. 2 of the 3 games are in New York. It's been a series of momentum. You don't want to give it back to New York, but man, we are feeling good tonight.
I was just hoping we wouldn't have to come back to New York, and if they held on, it's amazing. If they held on to a 20-point lead in we'd be over tonight. That's
They have
that's
dominated all three of
yeah.
their opponents. Michelle,
Yeah.
welcome to the Central Indiana Sports Report.
Well, thank you. It was a great game. I was like Cody for the first half. I was out covering softball, so I had to follow along on my CBS Sports app. As soon as game was over and I got in my car, I turned on my radio app to listen to Mark Boyle, who I still say listening to Pacers Network is 10 times better. Although Reggie, I've enjoyed Reggie on the TNT broadcast. But the great thing about listening on the radio app is it's 10 to 12 seconds ahead of the game on TV where I'm at. So I know when something good is coming up or something is bad. So I was a little less nervous watching it because it seemed like when I would get nervous, then the Pacers made I'd hear Pacers made a positive play. So yeah, great night for Halliburton. I wonder, do you guys think that maybe Tyrese he was a little pumped up because Pops was in the building?
Probably.
Yeah, and
Hey, Pacers are 1-0 when after he's been reinstated, so
yeah,
we're
but
undefeated.
you talked about Pat McAfee, and they talked about that on the radio that during that timeout that he just got the crowd, was begging to get the crowd on. Great. Ben Matherin he finally showed up to play, which was tremendous. I will say this. I was glad that when Turner fouled out that Rick went with Toppin. I was afraid he put Bradley in, and I wouldn't mind seeing Toppin a little bit more if KAT is hobbled by that knee. You might, because he can exploit him defensively. If you go small, he's not going to be able to move defensively. Get him in foul trouble, and he can't be effective on the offensive end either. So that would be, I'm not saying all the time because I do know you give up some rebounding advantage, but I wouldn't mind going small in small stretches.
Once again, Pacers win Game 4, 130 to 121 to take a 3-1 lead. The series now heads back to New York City for Game 5 on Thursday. Tyrese Halliburton, 32 points, led the team. 12 rebounds, led the team. 15 assists, led the team. 0 turnovers. When he's like that, they're not losing. Pascal Siakam, 30 points. He was 3 for 4 from behind the three-point line. And as we've been talking about, Benedict Matherin, 20 points off the bench. And he looked fantastic. And the guy who won't get as much praise probably, but was just amazing tonight was Aaron Nesmith playing through a sore ankle. And what great defense he played tonight, John.
Yeah, I was going to make that comment. Neesmith's defense was unbelievably good. Even if you on a healthy ankle, that's good defense. And the forcing the pokes, the forcing turnovers, the steals into fast break points, that was the difference maker in the game, in my opinion. Like if you look at how many forced turnovers they gave to the Knicks, that's a credit to Nesmith for forcing those and getting through screens. The man gets through screens like nobody I've ever seen. Like he is unbelievably getting through, and he's pressuring Brunson, which leads to all positive things for the Pacers.
Tyrese played like the sixth grader whose girlfriend came out to watch his first game out at the Little League field today. He played incredible. And I thought for the most part, we talked about the Pacers turning the ball over. That I thought a lot of times they were a little sloppy after turnovers. I would like to go back and see how many back-to-back turnovers there were because it just felt like it was Knicks throwing the ball around, Pacers throwing the ball around there in the third, early fourth quarter. But I do agree. I think Neesmith, just his size, wears on Brunson in a way that I don't know anyone else that the Pacers have. They don't match that. Like Neesmith, just with the size advantage, can take and abuse Brunson in a way that like Nimhard, McConnell, Shepard, they just can't. They just kind of get pushed around. And I do think that was a difference maker. I will say, I do think this ankle injury may have been a bit of gamesmanship by the Pacers because he looked 100% tonight. That ankle was not bothering him. I mean, when he went up for that dunk, he could have taken a penny off the backboard there in the first quarter. I just think that that was a gamesmanship on the Pacers' part.
Yeah, you've had injuries and stuff, right, Will? I mean, you may have a little scar tissue or something in that ankle that when he took that the other night that probably was pretty sore at the time, but that scar tissue, when it breaks like that, usually doesn't keep you limited for very long. I'll tell you what I really liked. I love the charge he took late in the game. That was fantastic. I mean, that's how you knew it. Even if the ankle wasn't 100%, the fact that he's willing to sacrifice his body and take a charge, and I believe it was Towns, right? I mean, he took a charge against the big boy.
Let's talk about Towns for a minute and the fact that he was grabbing hands and pulling arms into him all night. I'm not going to sit here and talk about reffing. I think the officiating was fine and balanced. Like there was missed calls on both sides, but like Towns was sitting there holding Miles' hands and wrists the entire game, pulling on Neesmith's arm to try and like get the fouls. And I really, when he hit his knee, I didn't feel bad for him because I was like, that's kind of. You've been playing kind of dirty all night, so you get what you get when you're playing into that much contact.
He's about the one Knicks player that I really can't. I have the utmost respect for Jalen Brunson. I mean, he gets, you say what you want about his flopping and whatnot, but he's a bull that I would want on any team. But Cat's really the one that I really can't stand, and I hate to, I don't wish injury upon anyone, but it's one of those things where it's like, hopefully he's not hampered by it because the Knicks fans will use, we didn't have Karl Anthony Towns or something like that. But I'm just watching the TNT broadcast, the amount of people that are basically crowding the TNT set. I don't think you can walk an inch in the main concourse of Cambridge right now. It's still rocking. This is a feeling we haven't had. I mean, I haven't had in my lifetime personally as a Pacers fan. Some others we've had that trip to the finals in 2000. I don't remember that, but as Mike gives us beautiful, yeah. Thank you for proving.
Mike.
Mike proved my point exactly. But yeah, it's hard. I'm rarely speechless. Like I think I can, talk about a lot of, especially when it's my hometown team and the Pacers. I'm kind of speechless right now because I really don't. I've never really been in this position. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to feel. But it's one of the greatest feelings I've had as a sports fan in quite a long time.
Okay, Cody, you were talking about, you're showing how young you are, and then some of us here we can go back and we can remember, and we'll show how old we are.
Oh, I know. That's what I was saying for me personally. It's like I was 4 years old when they made the finals in 2000. So I don't remember that at all. I know some history, obviously, some like ABA, all that stuff. But I mean, the last time I felt this about the Pacers was in 2013 and 14 when they made the Eastern Conference Finals.
I remember watching Clark Kellogg play live, so that's how Pacers fan. That's how far back I go with the Pacers was Clark Kellogg.
But
I saw Billy Keller. Okay.
Ooh, yeah.
I was young though, but I saw him.
Guys, I was 8 years old when they went to the finals or the Eastern Conference Finals last time. I was 8 years old, so I hate to be the young buck
This is
here,
your
but
peak.
yeah, I mean I have faint memories of the first run.
And I never thought anything could beat that 1994 run when the Pacers had never won a playoff series. Man, this is right up there. This is very similar to that, where they just kind of came from out of nowhere. Of course, we had a couple of you kind of predict it, and John put his money where his mouth was, and that's looking pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good about this, guys, and appreciate everybody's time. Anybody have some final thoughts? Please share them now.
I just want to quote Kobe and say, "Job's not finished, guys. Come on now, job. We can be excited, we can love it, we can be happy, but job's not finished." So let's
tune into First Take tomorrow morning to watch Stephen A. cry.
No, don't.
No, I don't give him the time of day.
Quit watching that nonsense.
Oh, I don't. I don't. I see clips
and
on.
Don't give ESPN any viewership.
all of the criticisms I've had of Halliburton, and they've been a lot. You can ask Will. I've said them on his show. They've all gone away in this postseason. That's for sure.
It's how do you like if you're an NBA fan trying to root for a team in the postseason? How do you not fall? This team now they remind me of it's the San Antonio Spurs with just classic ball movement. They have 4, 5, 6 guys who you can turn to, and they play with pace. They're fun to watch, energy, everything. Like I just don't see any reason why a casual NBA fan, if you want to hook onto a team, with the Final Four left, why not hook on the Indiana Pacers? They're so fun and exciting to watch.
John, I will concur with you with what Kobe said, and I hope the Pacers do, and they stay focused in, locked in. It's time to take a page out of Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan's books and their history, because those guys never didn't matter what the lead their series was. They had that killer vibe every time they stepped onto the court, and the Pacers have to, because just because they're up 3-1, this series is not clinched.
Just keep the pedal to the metal and finish the series. That's what I want to see. Come out, because today they played aggressive, they played fast, and they took the lead and kept it. So just do that the entire game for the next one and just win it all. Just win it.
Win the whole damn thing.
I mean, Pacers have they've outplayed the Knicks really, quite frankly, in 4 games up to this point in the series. They obviously lost Game 3. You hope that they go and they outplay them in the Garden. I think if they go and play like they did tonight, they're going to win. They've played really well this series. I don't think the Garden bothers this team. I don't think that that's going to be an issue at all. It's just going to be, do they outplay them in Game 5? And if so, I think they take care of business.
Thank you so much to Michelle Garmon, John Robertson, and Will Rutherford for joining the Central Indiana Sports Report as always, and to our guest Codey Emerson. Please check out Cody on the MLB Report, probably coming up this weekend. We've skipped the last couple of weeks because of the Pacers and Fever and the Indy 500, but it will be back this weekend. And thank you for listening. Please share this podcast with your friends and family to help get the word out about the Central Indiana Sports Report. We humbly thank you in advance. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love you, Susie.